at the end of January, friends. It is the last of our month of meatballs installments. And I thought maybe this time we could try and do a real meatball dinner. I know up to now we've done lots of sandwiches that have been awesome, but in case you want to make a meal for guests or for your loved one as we're getting kind of close to Valentine's Day, I thought we could try and make a real meatball dinner that would be plated and could be a fun change for meatballs. And I saw a recipe on TV the other day for an amazing filled pasta. And unfortunately, I have a terrible egg allergy and can't do fresh pasta. So I wanted to bring those flavors to this meatball dinner without having all the eggs in it from the pasta. So here's what we're going to make. We've done a mustard chicken meatball with a sweet potato and ricotta puree and a bacon cauliflower hash that I think will be awesome. So we're going to go ahead and get started with the sweet potato puree. Now in here I just have plain ricotta cheese. Really easy to find this time of the year in our area, and of course at a supermarket you can find that anywhere. Ricotta cheese is awesome. It's not very salty, and sometimes when we're trying to make it into a salty dish you just want to make sure that you salt your ricotta or else you'll be left thinking, something's kind of missing. So that's what I've just added, a little bit of salt, and this is just crushed chili pepper. You know how many of these I put away this past summer, so I've got a lot of chili flake to use. So that'll help give it some heat and some warmth. So that's all we have in here. What I've done, these are sweet potatoes, which I adore, and they are one of those superfoods full of vitamins, full of minerals, this great beta-carotene in that orange color. All I've done is prick the skins, put some olive oil, some sea salt on here in the oven, about 400 degrees, 30-35 minutes. They're nice and soft, and as you can see, if you do that, the skins just peel right off. Really super easy. You don't have to worry about peeling them. I hate peeling potatoes. When I was up at the Culinary Institute of America, we peeled a lot of potatoes and I was done with that process. So this is a really quick and easy way to not have to ever peel them. But they're ready to go. I'm just going to, you see how soft these are? They just fall apart. So I'm going to add these into the ricotta, and that really is all that this is going to be. We're going to add a little bit of parsley. Now we have one of those grow your own herb gardens up here that just takes water and sunlight, and you can grow herbs all year round. It's an awesome investment if you like to cook, if you're looking for herbs in the winter. Herbs in the grocery store are kind of expensive if you're just buying them to use a little bit here and there, so something to think about. But we've got parsley, we've got mint, we've got a couple other things, so that's how I still have these fresh herbs this time of year. If not, you can use dried herbs, but there's something about this bright green, beautiful color, the brightness of the flavor that I think is kind of nice. So that's how these fresh herbs are still here in the middle of January. Now if there's a tiny bit of skin left on here, no problem. The skin is actually full of fiber. Ooh, some just shot right there. It's great for you. It's just a delicious, I love it. I'll probably eat that when we're finished filming. But if you don't want any skin, you can of course peel it all off. But I think this is a great way, again, if you have people in your house that don't like vegetables, this is a great way to get vegetables into them without being too much of a labor of love. So I'm going to give this a quick mix. Oh, it smells incredible already. This can sit here for a few minutes. If you want, you could also make this in the food processor. Sometimes I don't like to lug it out because it's so huge and they're just lots of pieces. But it would make it really smooth. You could also do it if you have an immersion blender, one of the stick blenders, you could blend it with that. But I kind of like there being a little bit of chunk to it, a little bit of tooth. I like my mashed potatoes the same way. So it's up to you. If you want it totally smooth, puree this. If you want it looser, you could add a little bit of cream, or if you're trying to lighten it up because it is post-New Year, a little bit of stock. It would all be delicious. But oh, is that color not beautiful? I mean, absolutely delicious. And the ricotta gives it this kind of creaminess. They're just fantastic. So yeah, while our plate is here, I'm just going to plate us some of these right now. Oh, do those not look so good? I adore sweet potatoes. I've actually, you know what is delicious? Are sweet potato fries. If you like French fries like I do, try and make them with sweet potatoes. They are out of this world. A little bit sweet, salty, crispy. Oh, you cannot go wrong. So that is our sweet potato puree. Now, the meatballs, like I said, made a while ago. I'm just browning them here in the skillet. These have Dijon mustard, shallots, some white wine, thyme, olive oil. Again, it's chicken, it's ground chicken, not ground chicken breast. So this has dark meat and white meat in it, but it's delicious. It keeps them a little bit more moist. I'm actually going to turn up that heat because we're going to make a pan sauce. I can't get the sweet potato off my hand. It's driving me crazy. We're going to make a pan sauce in there, and so I'm going to heat that up so we can reduce it a little bit. But we are going to move on to our hash. Now, I've roasted some cauliflower. I love cauliflower. I know it's not everyone's favorite. It's in the it kind of smells like cabbage a little bit, but when you roast it, it gets sweet. You can kind of see it gets brown and caramelized and real nutty and sweet. It's awesome. All I put here is olive oil, balsamic vinegar, salt and pepper. A little bit of red chili flake as well. You know me, I love things a little bit heat. That's what's in here. And then in this pan, I have just browned off some bacon. I love bacon. You can't go wrong. If you put bacon in it, people will eat it, I promise. But I'm going to add the cauliflower and turn on the heat and get this moving. All we're going to add to this is some balsamic vinegar. I really like how balsamic vinegar goes with sweet potatoes, with meat. There's a depth and a richness to it that's great, and it works wonderfully with bacon as well. So I'm going to get this heating and just put a drizzle. Now this is apple balsamic vinegar. I've used this a couple times. There's a sweetness to it and a richness to it that I love. You can find peach balsamic vinegar, you can find plum balsamic vinegar, whatever you have, you can also just use plain. But the fruit is a really nice flavor with the sweetness of the sweet potato, the richness of the meat, those sorts of things. So, I'm going to add a little drizzle to this, just a splash, and let that go. Oh, these meatballs look fantastic. I'm kind of sad that our meatball month is almost over. I've had such a great time playing with some really cool recipes, but c'est la vie, next month is going to be awesome. Quick heads up, February is pizza month, so we're going to have tons of really fun, really different pizza recipes, so check back for those. But I'm going to get this plated. These meatballs are looking fantastic. They're really brown. I really like using the ground chicken, not the ground chicken breast. The ground chicken breast, I know it's a little bit leaner, but it tends to just dry out so quickly. And I don't know about you, but I hate when I bite into something that looks like it should be awesome and it's still really dry on the inside. It drives me crazy. So these tend to hold up really, really well. I'm going to move some of these to the side so I can make our quick sauce. Now, pan sauces are so easy to make. All I'm going to add to this cast iron skillet is some white wine to help deglaze. I'm sure you all know what deglaze means. They're just lots of delicious bits of the meat that's down here in the bottom of this pan, and I want to get that off. So I'm going to up the heat and add a little bit of wine. That's what you want to hear. That sizzle, that means that all of the yumminess is coming up off the bottom of this pan. Our hash is also making noise, which I love. But let's see, no, things are actually cooking. I'm going to let that deglaze for a second, turn this off, and spoon some over our sweet potatoes and our meatballs. Again, look at how many veggies are in this recipe. We've got sweet potatoes, we've got cauliflower, we've got some shallot in here in our meatballs. This is a great way to sneak veggies into a meal if you have kids at home or a partner who's really anti-vegetable. This is awesome, and they're so delicious. So, oh, this smells, there's something about wine when you cook with it that smells awesome. You just want to keep in mind, whatever the flavor profile of the wine is, it's going to intensify when you cook with it because you're boiling out the extra liquid. So if it's a really sweet wine, your sauce will have a really nice sweetness to it. If you use a dry wine, your sauce will be drier. So just keep that in mind. This is kind of a middle of the way white, so it'll have a good sweetness, but it won't be over-cloyingly sweet. So this is reduced some. I'm going to add some more of that balsamic vinegar, which will help. It'll thicken it up. It'll kind of let it coat the meatballs. It's really, really delicious. That's it. I'm going to taste this. See if it needs salt. You know, I think it might need a tiny bit of salt. Don't be scared to taste your food. It's the only way you know if it's actually going to be edible when you're done. So here's what we do here. We put tons of these spoons just in a little cup. Then you always have tasting spoons right by your sink. Great way. You can get a pack of 20 spoons at any big box store for nothing. So it's a great way to always have the opportunity to taste before you get to the end and think, oh gosh, this is not what I was hoping for at all. I'm going to turn this off. Oh, does this not look amazing? Put some of this sauce on here, and then we're going to give this a bite. I cannot thank you enough for joining me this month. I've had such a blast doing these meatballs for you all. This is going to be awesome. I had some parsley here. If you want to add that to the top, you can, but I can't wait. I've got to have a bite right now of all of this put together. Thanks so much. Have a wonderful week, and I'll see you next time for pizza. Bye.